Good morning. Look at all that sky behind me with the light of the rising sun, and you're looking west back that way. The sun is here in front of us. Just a question, have you ever noticed, even in your own heart, and obviously, a type of a sadness over good in others, or even in opposition to the good in others? That's a dangerous sign. The readings talk about that today very powerfully. Wisdom today is because it matches up with something Jesus is experiencing in Jerusalem. And it's the hostility to good deeds he's doing. Sometimes you see in children, when there's a child that's good, it can draw out the anger of a child that's misbehaving, that's in a bad mood. And we say the child is in a bad mood because they're opposing some goodness that's in the other child. Now, the other child can also be a little haughty, can be showing off their goodness, their good deed. They can be doing maybe in a provocative way to set themselves out in contrast to the one who's doing wrong, and that can be mixed in as well. But the very nature of this problem is deeper down, and in a certain sense the whole mystery of salvation and of goodness of creation is contrasted by the spirit of evil, the evil one. And that's why we need to be very alert when in our bad mood we become bitter, embittered, negative about somebody that's doing good, somebody that's truthful, somebody that's faithful. There's kind of a companionship in infidelity that's lethal to the soul. And there's an unease that's inside the unfaithful person in front of the fidelity of the other. And that can be in different areas. It can be in the area of honesty and cheating. It can be in the area of truth, of confessing faith. It can be also in the area of where somebody is pointing out good that's in a person that's actually causing a lot of trouble. And there are some people that are opposed to that troublesome person and want to wipe them off the face of the earth, or angry with them, or very negative about them. And somebody points out a good thing. This can provoke hostility from the person who wants to go against this evildoer. And there are a lot of different factors involved in all of this in our heart and soul. And so we have the evildoers in the book of wisdom. There's such great wisdom. That's why it's the book of wisdom. There's such great wisdom in the ponderings of this chapter. And you might want to read the whole chapter. You might want to just take that little extra time today and go click on the link at the top of the reading and just read the whole chapter slowly. And it's we have obviously a very intense moment in the chapter where the direct hostility is at a climax. For if the just one be the Son of God, he will defend him. Let us see whether his words be true. Let us find out what will happen to him if we do bad against him. If God will deliver him from the hand of his foes. With revilement and torture, let us put him to the test. Like, why would you need to put somebody who's doing good under revilement and torture, under insult and obnoxious contradiction, if the person is doing good? Like, what's itching inside the heart and soul of that person who is so negative about somebody doing good? And it mightn't be just the whole blanket thing of the behavior. It could be a certain feature of the behavior. Oh, look at this, we got a rainbow up here. It's a small one and it's growing a little bit. Let's see how it will do. A rainbow growing out of Mount Arbel. Let it be a sign of reconciliation and goodness. With revilement and torture, let us put him to the test, that we may have proof of his gentleness and try his patience, to see if he's really patient, if he's really gentle. And you have that teasing, that provocation, that insulting word, that tone of opposition that tries to draw out a person who's calm. And that's the great victory of goodness then, when the person who is good, despite their own limitations in different ways, can remain patient and can say, I'm not going to break down my level. I'm not going to lose my dignity. We're made in the image and likeness of God. And that raises us to a whole other level of expectation within our own conscience. We belong to a different household. And we don't belong to the household of evil. We don't belong there. Nobody, not even the worst criminal, belongs there. We're alienated when we're associating with that standard. The person that takes the space and the time to ponder doing evil to others, to set up evil for others, that's a very unhealthy place to be. Very unhealthy place for our psychology, for our heart, for our mind, for our relationships, and even within the own family. There are some societies that are very warlike, very focused on violent responses, and at the end of the day it does themselves a lot of harm to live like that. And usually in those kind of societies there are groups of people who notice that, and they rise up, they organize, and they point out a critique of that thrust toward violent repercussions for every wrong that's done. Because at the end of the day it's a very slippery slope where, it's like you fight evil with the same kind of evil. And evil isn't conquered by more evil, it's conquered by good. And that's a famous line also in St. Paul: conquer evil with doing good. Don't try to conquer evil by evil. We don't conquer evil by hating the people, the evildoer. That's why we're a religious life and understanding of redemption, not of condemnation and destruction. And that's why it's always an excess to completely destroy the enemy, to completely maim, because we lose dignity ourselves, and the poor victim of the evil who got into so much evil, who got so involved in a drug gang, who got so beaten up in their soul and their heart and their mind and their relationships that they do so much evil. Oh, there's a rainbow now. It's growing. From Mount Arbel to our palm tree here. This very tall palm tree. I give you a look from down below. You can look up at the palm tree from down below. We never did that. Isn't it funny the things we haven't done? Let's look up at this palm tree from down below. First of all, we'll get up and see how high I can reach on it. So you have all this finer part of the bark, and then you have this hairier part, and this is above me now. This is at least a little over 2 meters from the ground. So let's start looking up. Don't lose your balance, okay? And the rainbow, oh, it's a full rainbow now. Hey, look at this. So it's coming out of Mount Arbel there to the left and over to the right to the other 2 tall trees that are actually taller than this one here that we were looking up at. People, let that be a sign for reconciliation, and maybe I'll catch it on the Instagram as well, so they'll have the joy of it, and we'll share the goodness. We won't multiply the evil. And Jesus experienced a tremendous tension in Jerusalem, and this reading of wisdom captures a lot of the dynamic that's happening in the hearts and souls in those relationship fields. Hostility, destruction of the other. Let us pray for the recovery of the human heart, of every human heart. And that anybody who has to punish somebody, especially parents with children, that they never do it out of anger, that they only do it for redemption. That's the greatness of our faith. People, God bless you. See you later, alligators. Oops, trying to get the sunrise there. Give me a chance here. There we go. And then we'll get the rainbow again just to finish up here, because that's so special. God bless you.